So at the end of the day, rock and roll is all about how much money do you accumulate at the end of it, right?
Yeah.
Because I was going through this list, and we've gone through multiple versions of it, and then this sort of seems to be the most cohesive one, but a lot of my favorite rock stars are not on this list. Like, there's no Lou Reed.
No Lou Reed.
There's, and we're not counting pop stars. That's a whole different thing.
Different.
You have to be rock and roll related.
Rock and roll.
From the beginning to the end of rock and roll, I want the craziest, wealthiest, and like, you know, you were talking like, you know, there's Taylor Swift's, there's Ed Sheeran's, but you know what's really funny about that though? Ed Sheeran wouldn't even be on this list.
No, he would not.
He wouldn't have made it, even if he was like considered, if we put him in the rock and roll only. He's not. That's how wealthy some of these people are. It's nuts.
It shocked me a little bit.
I didn't realize playing bass could get you paid so much.
But it can.
And we're going to start off with number 15, Sir Adam Clayton from U2. This gentleman, this Irish gentleman from humble beginnings, is worth over $300 million now. And I think that's our beginning.
That's the bottom of the list, yes.
I think Ed Sheeran's somewhere in that 130 range, but his tour was the top grossing tour ever. That one he had right before COVID. I think he made $775 million on tour ticket sales. Insane. Anyway, top grossing tour in history. It's nuts. But Adam Clayton's made $300 million, and he is tied with Miss Annie from ABBA. I'm not going to say the whole name. It's really confusing. Annie Fried. Can you say it?
Lindstedt. I don't know.
Lindstedt. It's Lindstedt. Annie Fried Lindstedt. It's not that hard.
Sure.
And so she's worth also the same as Adam, which is awesome because that band's amazing.
Makes total sense.
Now, I mean, if you haven't seen like any like ABBA shows or ABBA movies, or you know, what's the name of the Mamma Mia? That's it.
Mamma Mia. That's it.
I saw that on Broadway. God, decade plus ago now. It was amazing. And I saw the movie, which was also amazing. I didn't see the sequel. I refused. I just don't want to ruin that image of the joy I had. Let's move on to one of my favorites, Roger Waters. He barely tops those two at 310, I believe.
A humble 310.
Which is pretty amazing because he has not really output much in a long time.
Yeah, so I feel like he's out there doing, you know.
He's doing it, but like
playing.
Think about that though. Like his primary, like his greatest work sort of stopped in the 80s.
Yes.
As far as his greatest commercial hits.
Right.
And he's still generating. You know, where we go back to like, you know, Adam Clayton from U2, don't worry, there's other guys from U2 coming up. That, you know, it's just, they generated for decades of their tops in a time when the getting was good. We'll get into that later. Number 12, you heard of this guy?
I don't think so. I think he's sort of underground.
Sort of an independent artist from England. Keith Richards. They have Keith tallying in at $340 million. That's a lot of dough. Now Keith's he's been a member of his band for quite a few years.
Quite a few.
The same band, they've made some of the greatest records in the history of rock and roll, one of the greatest rock bands ever. I think he's well deserved of this title and this outrageous amount of money, which I do. Even when we're talking about in these paltry 300 millions, I can't even wrap my head around what you do with $300 million. It's just, I
feel like I have an idea what Keith might do with his, but I don't know.
Take baths and $300 million. Yes. I just think that's pretty amazing. Now let's move back into let's go back to Ireland with The Edge. Another U2. Another U2 guy. Now he's worth $340 million at this point.
Slightly more than Adam.
It's the same as Keith though, so it's kind of neat. That's sort of like to give you an idea. Like, you know, the Stones have been around forever,
right? And
U2's been around since the late 70s.
Yes.
Really. But you know, their explosion of real generating was in the 80s and all through the 90s. I
was gonna say really lasted all through
the 90s. And into the early 2000s,
yep.
Up with like Elevation, that tour, and
I even went to see them on the tour after that, the 360 tour.
Yeah, that was they were still killing it.
It was huge, yeah. And
they're still really, they haven't toured in a while, but they are one of the best live bands I've ever seen.
Yes,
I'll give them that.
Pretty darn good.
Now, from number 10 is another unknown band from Liverpool called the Beatles. Ringo Starr is in there at $350 million. Is that?
Let's don't discount Ringo's solo work.
Ringo's solo work is pretty amazing. It's spectacular. I do
go to see him.
I like that. You saw him?
Yeah, the All Stars.
That's amazing.
Yeah, man. It was pretty amazing.
Was that with like Tom Petty show up or anything?
No.
Okay.
But he had Edgar Winter. which was kind of awesome.
So Tom Petty is in like the top wealthiest guitar players.
There you go.
Well, but that number starts way lower than $300 million. We're just going rock stars, man. We want to start with
Tom Petty would have more than that though. It surprises me kind of.
No, but he's still. I mean, I know you're very wealthy, so like 300 doesn't seem like a lot. But you're like, a paltry $160 million.
That's cute.
So.
Way to go, guys.
Oh, so we jump into Mick Jagger at number 9. He tops Ringo by $10 million at $360 million, which is still quite a bit of money.
A decent bit of money.
Quite a bit. It's pretty amazing. The years of touring, the years of record sales, the years of commercialization, he's done quite well. Now, it sort of surprised me, number 8, Sting. He's making he's got $400 million. He's not making $400 million. He's got $400 million is what this magical number that we found. That sort of surprised me.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the Police, but his solo career was outstandingly lucrative. And his monetization is still on track to keep him well fed in his yoga practices, and he's still gorgeous, which is really frustrating.
Don't forget his cameo in the B movie with Jerry Seinfeld.
I've never seen the B movie.
You need to go watch the B movie because Sting is there.
I'm not really a movie guy.
You hate movies.
Oh. Okay.
How bad must that movie be that you've never seen it?
Well, I've seen some bad movies. I like bad movies as well.
But you like movies that are so bad they're good.
Like, I'm a big fan of the Freddie Prinze Jr. hit Wing Commander. I saw that at the premiere in New York City, and I loved it. Like when they pulled up against the Kilrathi.
What's not to love?
You don't even know who the Kilrathi are, probably, because you're not a wing. If you're a Wing Commander guy, like Wing Commander 4 with Mark Hamill, you know what I'm talking about. Gamers out there. But when in the movie when the battleships pull up and he says, "Give them a broadside," I was like, ugh, it's like a naval battle in space. It's so dumb. I love it.
I mean, it sounds fun.
It's great. And if you get to the end of the movie, for some reason, like when you see like the actual cat Kilrathi people,
if you get to the end.
It's hard to get there. When you see the cat people, it's like, I swear, like they built the puppet outfits for them, and they didn't connect talking mouth parts. They're like, it's really bad. It's so
slight oversight there, but yeah.
So Sting, $400 million. Let's move up to Living on a Prayer, number 7.
John Bon Jovi,
410.
Yeah,
$410 million. It's still
not too bad.
We're ratcheting up here slightly. He's figured out how to do it. Yes. He's got his money tied into other places too. He's a smart guy. But who outs him by quite a bit? Going up the ranks to number 6, the magical American Gene Simmons. Not that you're not American, John, but Gene Simmons.
Just like what?
What
I'm from
happened?
Jersey.
Gene Simmons is like, it's Queens. It's even better.
He's got an army, a Kiss army.
He does have a Kiss army, and he wears platform heels to work every day. What do you do?
And he spits blood.
And that's why he gets $450 million in his bank account.
There you go.
And he's been with more women than Noah's been with animals, I was going to say. I mean, not in that way. I mean, just like he's been with a lot of women.
It's like a strange turn there.
I don't know what that means. But
strange turn.
Gene Simmons, he's a very wealthy man that I respect the Kiss engine quite a bit.
Engine's a good word for Kiss.
It's an engine. I mean, their little meet and greet thing they do where you pay like outrageous amounts, like you literally like, move along. Thanks for the $1,000, whatever. Oh my God, it's like another. That's cool. We're going to jump up another. We're starting to jump in like sort of bigger ratchets now. We're going up to number 5, the boss.
Nope.
Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen.
That man has been doing it for a long time. He's on Broadway right now too, and he's one of those few Broadway shows that if you want to see it, you have to have full proof of vaccination, and it cannot be AstraZeneca. So if you're Canadian, you're out of luck for the most part. An unfortunate little thing. It has to be one of the FDA approved one, Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. Is that what we had? I can't remember like the other ones that we had. But anyway, he's doing Broadway right now. Those are very expensive tickets. If you got them, you're really lucky. But he's worth $500 million. That's a lot of money.
We're getting up there.
$500 million. Now there's someone who comes in and ties him, who I think is the absolute fabulistic-ist. One of our best performers we've ever had in the history of rock and roll. Somebody like, he's Pop. I'm like, if you're Pop, how did you write Crocodile Rocks? Elton John, Sir Elton John, $500 million ties Bruce, hand in hand. If I had to take a battle, I think Elton will win in a fight any day.
All day long. Twice on Sunday.
He's got the cape, he's got the hat, he's got the glasses, he's got the boots. And it's an Elton John army.
It's true.
Sorry, Jersey. Can't beat Elton. It's not possible, even though they're the same net worth. Let's jump up $100 million. Let's go up to number 3. Probably one of the best businessmen.
This is kind of funny to me.
It's weird because like it's questionable. Like, is it rock and roll?
I was gonna say the rock star part, but he is a rock star in the sense of like, you know,
he is. I mean, like
life.
If you're a parrot head, you know, maybe you're into like headbanging too.
It's possible.
One of my ex-girlfriends, she had her nose broken at a Beach Boys concert. That was pretty rock and roll.
It's rock and roll.
You know, with the giant balls on it, somebody elbowed her. I've talked about it before. That's enough. Jimmy Buffett, $600 million.
$600 million.
He is. I mean, there's Jimmy. The concerts, the songs, but there's Jimmy Buffett. You know, Margarita Machines. There's Margaritaville. I've been there. It's actually pretty good. It's a little bit run down. The one in New Jersey. I mean, in Myrtle Beach. It was a little bit. It needs an update badly.
But the big one in Nashville.
The food was decent.
Yeah.
But we're staying in his hotel for Summer NAMM.
Are we?
Yeah, we were staying in the Margaritaville because it was hilarious. I was like, why would we not do that? Taylor's like, which one should you do? I'm like, is that Jimmy Buffett's hotel? That one. It's the same price as that one. That's like a Hilton or something. I don't want to stay at a nice hotel. I want to stay at the
Jimmy Buffett hotel. Yes.
Because you know the parent head's going to be there.
That's why he's worth $600.
He has a retirement community as well. Most people don't know about that.
We should make plans for that.
You can.
One day you and I could just be hanging out.
We can die at Margaritaville.
Drinking Hurricanes. Singing
That was my friend, like Patrick and I, we talked about like, you know, just having like a big, you know, just binging, overdosing on a cruise ship when it's time to go, when we're demented fully and just like drink and fall overboard. You won't know. Let's jump into number 2. We're going to go up another $100 million to $700 million. U2 is back in at this time with Bono, Sir Bono.
Another Irish lad.
Now, the great thing about Ireland too, I believe, I could be wrong, but this is how it used to be. There is no tax for musicians in Ireland. This is one of the reasons that they can be so wealthy. There's some like weird rule about artists and musicians that like Ireland's one of those countries that I could have been lied to by the tourist bureau of Ireland.
Probably.
Or like because I worked with a lot of the town council people and junk there. But they really do support their artists.
It seems like they as a culture support the arts. They support
music.
Musicians. Yep.
They support like visual arts. They support storytelling. Unlike any country I've ever actually seen. They also support tech, you know, development too. Dublin was one of the tech hubs and still is of the world.
There you go.
Which is kind of fascinating, but they really do, like, they support their artists. They love it. U2 is like an institution.
Yes.
I remember when I was there, last time I was in Ireland, which was like 2 years or so ago, maybe 3 years ago, 3 summers ago, I think. And
that's true.
And U2 was doing a concert. I remember like the grandparents that I was hanging out with at night till like 1 in the morning at this bar, they were babysitting earlier for their kids, their grandkids, while all of their kids went to go see U2 down in Dublin. And I thought it was pretty, like, everyone under a certain age went to go see U2.
I mean, that's kind of awesome.
It's like and they're amazing. And like what Bono has done for the world too. Yeah. Like he is like the ambassador of goodwill for rock and roll. And people are like, I don't want to hear politics when I hear rock and roll. Like, but U2 is a political band.
Yes.
If you don't hear politics with U2, you're just not, you've missed the boat or something. It's not, one is not their only song. They have. And the streets have no name. They start off as a protest band against the UK and the opposition against like the violence that they have in their own country.
There you go.
You know, not against the UK, but just against like the violence that was fostered between both parties.
Yes. And
then somehow he's managed to do good stuff and be worth a ton of money. So who would be worth the most?
I had a feeling it's the name that is actually there.
But he's worth
quite a bit more than the rest.
Quite a bit more. So Sir Paul McCartney is obviously number one, and he's worth over $1 billion.
1.2 billion is the number we saw.
That's on. Yeah. So Bond's at $700 million. So he's almost twice. He is twice what Jimmy Buffett's worth. Almost twice what Sir Bono's worth. It's kind of amazing. It's an amazing feat that this man has been around for so long, created so much goodwill, so much joy and happiness. And he's worth all that money after the strange stuff he's been through too. You know, so it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing.
I mean, you know.
That's I don't want to get into the negative stuff. He's still got it. Like he's not stopping generating, which
he
makes
does kind of still have it. Which is
he does.
Like when you see him and you're like, oh, he's old. It's going to be different. No.
No, he looks amazing.
He plays amazing. He sings amazing.
Great.
Yes.
He and it's the Beatles, and so that's our list right now. If you have other ones that we missed, we sort of had to skip a few. Like once we got to like Bono, we had to like just. But I mean, there isn't really. I mean, it does kind of it leaps and bounds. Like Bono's kind of it, and then it shoots straight up to the sky. It's insane. It's insane. There's some other ones in there we sort of left out, but that's for you to find. put in there for us because we're not that smart.
Let us know if we missed some of the comments.
That was fun.
We are confident that you will.
I'm confident we missed some stuff too.
I'm sure we did.
I can't wait to talk about movies soon too.
We're going to talk about movies.
Yeah. We're going to do it as soon as cameras stop.
Just a movie video. No.
If people want
off there, off the record.
Maybe just off the camera.
Okay. All right.
That's it. That's all I got.
Hit like and subscribe if you have not already. Click that bell so you don't miss videos in the future. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We shall see you next time.